Hello, you're on Running Point. Is this Coach Bartlett?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Jody. Thank you so much for joining us and talking a little bit about your program.
Hi, Anthony. Thanks for having me.
And we kind of, well, we talked about this before you called. Fitch might be one of the more impressive teams in the area when talking volleyball. You guys have really put it together, and you're senior led, so you had to kind of have high expectations coming into the season, if I'm assuming correctly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely a great group of kids, great leadership, and they just have a strong bond. They've been together for a long, long time, and they've been able to build that team chemistry, and they just love it, and they're so grateful to be playing and enjoying every minute of it.
You guys didn't play a ton of games in the first couple of weeks of the season. You had a couple of try matches get canceled because of COVID-19. So you went into this big game against Canfield with, I believe, only 2 games under your belt. And Canfield was the team, I've been talking to your players, was the team that you guys haven't beaten in a while. And you guys go down 2 sets to nothing, and then you storm back and win that game in 5. Do you think that was maybe one of the turning points of the season, even though it was so early, where your team kind of understood what their potential was and understood what they could do this year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think they know volleyball is such a mental game, and so much plays off of every person and how they're handling the pressure at the moment and how it affects everybody else. And we knew, at the end of that second set against Canfield that we needed to pull it together. And that's something I feel like in my past experience as a coach when we've played Canfield, they're a great team. They have a great program. They're always one of our toughest, if not the toughest team that we see regular season for sure. And my girls were just they did what they needed to do. And it was by no means easy beating them. They made us work, but I think they see that if they pull together and they can stay focused and positive, that it definitely makes a big difference in how they perform.
In that moment, down 2-0 in that game, how much did your senior leaders kind of step up and pull the team up and get them through that match?
Oh, they did, and they, what I love about the girls is, they'll speak up when we're in the huddle, and I'm telling the kids what I want to say to them. They have their turn too, and they'll speak up individually and say things, and they all listen to one another and take that in, and they do it on the floor also. They're directing each other and helping each other out with where they need to be and talking during plays, and so yeah, they definitely, their leadership helped big time.
And one of the most important positions in volleyball is your setter, and you have a senior setter in Emma Bartlett who has a lot of experience with the other hitters under her belt. So I mean, all the senior leaders, but having a senior setter to be the coach on the floor when you need things, what's that kind of like, and what kind of advantage does that give you against other teams?
Oh, it just them having that chemistry. I mean, they worked together for so long, so they're comfortable with one another. Emma does a great job of setting the other girls in different ways. She knows what they want, and she tries to give them, their individual types of sets that they like. And she also does a good job of mixing it around. And she has a lot of girls that she can go to. She knows she has a lot of kids that can put the ball away, and she's very smart about when she knows who's on fire to keep going to that kid. So she does a great job out there.
And if you're listening and you heard the same last name, I didn't make a mistake. It is Coach Bartlett's daughter. So when you guys did senior parent night, and what was that experience? I talked to Emma about that experience on her perspective, but from your perspective, what was it like trying? You had to do your parent duties and walk her across the court for senior parent night, but then you had to put the coach hat back on and coach during the volleyball game. So from your perspective, what was senior parent night like for you?
It was a little weird, honestly. It was. I mean, it's hard because I had to step back, like you said, and do my parent duty, which I did. But then to try and refocus and all of those girls, all of those seniors are so important to me. So they're definitely a special group, and it was definitely something that I'll always remember and cherish. And it was a special night, and I do think, and I know the girls when they were interviewed said this, and I agreed 100%. The emotional part of it, I think, doesn't hit as hard because it was early on. It was at the beginning of the season. I think, if that senior night was to be held in the next few matches here coming up, if we knew it might be the last time on the floor, I think it may have been a little bit harder emotionally for sure.
And you talk about what's that dynamic like? Getting to coach your daughter and getting that opportunity and trying to, trying to make it seem like a family affair.
You know what? Emma does a really good job of when we're out there, I'm not mom, I'm coach, and that's just, she's been that way from the time I started coaching her when she was 10 years old, and she's never I acted or treated me any different than any of the other players do. And I just think we have, that good relationship when we're on the floor together. It's, coach player. When we're at home, it's mom daughter. And it just works. I have seen through the years, little league and different things of watching my kids in different sports. And I know a lot of parents coach their kids, and I think some kids do respond really well to their parents coaching them, and I think some maybe not so much. But I think with Emma, it's been a good thing. She, she does her job. She doesn't, like I said, think that she's going to get any special treatment because I'm her parent, and she works hard. And she works just as hard for me as she does, for her coach in basketball and any other sport that she's played.
And when you talk about your team, we've mentioned the seniors, and rightfully so. They're you got a lot of them, and they're all very good. But you have some underclassmen that have really stepped up this year and meshed into this team. And the one that really stands out is Jocelyn Jourdan in the middle. I mean, she gives you a presence in the middle of the net with not just with her defense, but also with her offense. What's it been like seeing some of the younger kids kind of get in sync with all the seniors that you have?
No, it's been awesome. And, Jocelyn, or Joe, we call her Joe, when I decided last year I was going to bring her to team camp with us, she was coming in as a freshman. There was a lot of pressure on her stepping up into that role, but she never missed a beat. I mean, she went right out there and did her job, and she's done great. And she has Cate McGuire to follow. She's our other middle, and Cate has set an awesome example for her. Those two have a very strong bond, so I feel like they feed off of one another. And a couple of my, other underclassmen also, Alyssa Leskovac, Elisali, those two, they played with me last year as well. And this year just continue. Their defense is phenomenal. And we added Sammy Missick to that mix this year. And I tell them all the time, those kids, they're the ones that are giving us those passes and letting us run the plays and do the things we can. So they all do a great job.
Yeah, and I love that you bring up the defense you guys play, because I think sometimes in volleyball that kind of goes unnoticed because, let's face it, the swinging is the highlight. Everyone kind of likes to watch the swingers get the attacks. But, man, you have a great libero in Elisali, and the passes that she gets up on target most of the time. What's it like being able to depend on your back row when you have such strong hitters like you do?
Oh, that's where it's at. I tell them that all the time. If it wasn't for those kids passing the ball, we wouldn't be able to do half of the things that we're doing. And Ella and Alyssa both also started from a very young age. I was fortunate to coach them when they were only in fifth or sixth grade, I believe it was. I worked with them a little bit, and they both have experience. They play club volleyball also, and they both have had some experience playing on national level teams. And I know they've had some great coaching through their clubs too. So that really benefits them and helps when they come in. But yeah, and I tell the girls the defense, that's where it starts, and it starts with our blockers at the net. And Joe and Cate do a great job there, and our other blockers too. We have Alex Fisher; she does a good job blocking. We have a lot of girls that help out in that regard. And if it wasn't for that defense, then we'd be struggling a lot more for sure.
Passes are on target a lot, but sometimes they're not. And I think you guys do a really good job of adjusting and getting good out of system kind of plays. Do you think that has contributed to the fact that you have so many seniors and so many girls that have experience on the court, that when things are a little out of system, they can still get strong swings on the ball?
Oh yeah, I mean, we definitely. It's nice for, of course, when Emma's setting, she has a lot of options. But when Emma has to pass that ball and she's now out, and we need somebody else to step up and set, that person still has options to go to. And we have even some of my girls that maybe only see back row, may not hit as much. Like Elissa Melody, she's got a great arm. She swings from the back row. And those girls can, wherever they are, they can swing, and they do a nice job. So it's, yeah, when you're setting that ball, it's nice to know you have lots of choices to go to for sure. That's something I have not seen in my experience. I feel like in the past we've maybe had a couple girls who has that really strong arm, but I feel like this year we have a handful of them, so it's nice.
Talk about a strong arm, and we can't not talk about Chelsea Wheeler and what she brings to the outside, and the arm speed that she brings. Just talk about her as a player and what she brings to the table.
Oh yeah, Chelsea for sure has been our strongest outside hitter and strongest hitter overall. And when she's on fire, she's unstoppable. And she has that vertical, so she gets up so high and can just hit that ball straight down. And Chelsea has a lot of confidence and plays with that confidence, which helps her. And she she's a good leader also. The girls look up to her, and she's a hard worker. She's doing a great job for us.
I've been talking to coaches all season, and the advantage of having girls that play club volleyball in the off season has become very apparent when I look at the teams that have a lot of girls that play club and have that experience. They seem to just do better even in the tough situations. What kind of advantage does that give you when you have so many players that do play club and do have that experience out of the season?
Oh, it definitely makes a huge difference. Years ago when I started coaching at Fitch, I coached under Tom Case years ago, and that was back with the team that was actually inducted into the Hall of Fame that went to state. And at that time, those kids, they were all involved in club, and it's just more exposure, more practice. And I tell my kids that all the time. And unfortunately, club is not something that everybody's able to do, and some kids do other sports, and it interferes. But for those that can, I tell them that, and regardless of where they're at, the more reps they're getting, the better they're going to be for sure. So, in club, they play a lot in one day. They get a lot of matches in, so it's just great experience. And usually the level of competition is good as well.
Jody Bartlett, the head coach of Austintown Fitch Volleyball, joining us on Running Point. Coach, you've had to bounce back from a loss now on Saturday against a very good Massillon Perry team, but you're 13-2, so it's only the second loss you've had to bounce back from. What do you expect from the mentality of the team this week? Because your schedule doesn't get any easier as you go on to a game against Poland tonight, I believe. How do you guys expect to bounce back against a tough loss?
Well, we've had a good long talk after that match, and there are a lot of things we know we need to work on, a lot of things that we just weren't going our way that day. And Perry is a great team. They had some really strong hitters. They were very good, stopping us at the net and blocking a lot of our hits. And and their hitter, they had a right side hitter, 6'2", that just was, she was super strong, and she did a great job of seeing where our block was and going around it. And so lots of things we know we need to work on. But my girls, I tell them all the time, we're only going to get better when we play those strong teams. They're making us better, and we could end up seeing Perry again in the tournament. So, we're going to keep working hard, and if that happens, I'm sure we'll be ready.
And you never want to lose, but do you think this was maybe a perfectly timed loss towards the end of the season to kind of maybe bring the girls a little bit down to earth a little bit and show them that there are things they can work on and
oh, yeah.
that it is possible to lose?
Yeah, absolutely. And they know, like I said, just to reflect on, what things that we needed to work on and just see, what the level of team is going to be like that we see in tournament. And that's something, when we go to our tournament, it's very tough. There are a lot of really tough teams, a lot of them that play in the Federal League. So they're, the level that they see every match is very strong. And, so, I think it's just going to help us get ready for it. And honestly, I wish we could play more of those Federal League teams. I tell the girls that it's only making us better. So.
Your schedule is tough, by the way. You're closing. You have another match with Canfield coming up. You play Louisville again. You play Boardman again this week. How much does your schedule really prepare you for what you see in the tournament?
You know what? I think we do have a strong schedule. Those teams you just mentioned, they're all good teams. And I tell the girls, we can't just look at their records and go into it. And and just like with Perry this past weekend, that's what I told them. You look at their record, and they've had a handful of losses, but still, you look at how strong they are. And when teams are playing other tough teams, and I know Boardman and Canfield both have had strong schedules that they've followed this season too. So they're all preparing, and or my girls have set goals to they want to win that conference, and they're working for it, but they know they have to work hard against those teams to get it.
What kind of things in the last couple weeks do you really want to see your team maybe improve on, or things that you want to sharpen up before tournaments start?
Definitely, just defense. I mean, that was what got us for sure against Perry, working on, our blocking and being smarter when we're hitting. And, if we had that big block up there, we need to make sure that, we're going around it but keeping it in play. And I think that's where we struggle. We were seeing the block, we were trying to avoid it, and we had a lot of hitting errors. We're hitting a lot out of bounds. So those are things that we're going to work on and get ready for.
And you've been with Austintown Fitch Volleyball for a long time. What kind of makes you proud to be a part of that school system and to kind of represent Fitch and to just be a part of that program?
You know what? It's been ever since I have had any experience with Fitch Volleyball. Like I said, was back when I coached under Tom Case, and that was in 2000, 2001. And that was when I actually got hired at Austintown. I'm also a teacher here in the district, so I've been here for 20 years now, and it's just been great. I took some time off when I had my children, and when I came back, I coached at the middle school, and I was at Austintown Middle School with one of the 8th grade teams for 6 years before I moved up to the high school. And I'm now going on my 6th year here, and it's been great. It's been really fun to see those kids and, see them go through middle school, through high school. And some of the girls that I have now, I've had them since they were in 5th grade. I've worked with them. So a lot of them I've had in class. So it's been really awesome. And I think Austintown is a great district. I'm really proud to teach here and happy to be able to coach these girls.
And Coach, real quick, Coach is nothing without the assistants and the staff that you have. So take a minute to talk about the people on your staff and what they help you do and how much they help grow the program as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it starts from the very bottom up. I mean, my middle school coaches, I have a great middle school coach, Jody Bartlett. She actually played for Tom Case years ago, and her teams, both 7th and 8th grade, she coaches the red teams. Both of them won the conference last year, and her team's done real good again this year, so we'll see how they do. We added a new coach, Alexis Egler, who's our other middle school coach, and she actually played at YSU and has a lot of great experience and is doing a great job for us. And then at the high school, my JV coach, Coach Chiera, she's a teacher at the high school as well, and she does a great job with her team, and she does a great job assisting me with the girls. And then I have 2 coaches at the freshman level, Darius Binion and Vince Smith, and they do a great job too. I think we all kind of have the same mindset and what we expect from our kids, and we make them work hard. And they're all very knowledgeable in the sport, and they all do a great job. I'm very fortunate to have the staff that I do.
Coach, I am so glad to hear that Alexi Egler is doing good things for you. I miss watching her play at YSU. Such a fun player to watch, and I know she's a great coach because I've seen kind of the things that she does for the volleyball players now at YSU. When she goes to a game, she'll stay after and talk to a lot of them about what they're doing and try to coach them up as an alum. So I'm really happy to hear that she's doing great things for you.
Yeah, I was really happy to be able to add her to my staff this year. She's a great asset for sure.
Coach, thank you so much for taking time. I know your time is so valuable, and we appreciate hearing from you and hearing about the Fitch Volleyball program.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Take care.
All right, bye, Coach.
Bye.
That was Coach Jody Bartlett of the 13-2 Austintown Fitch Falcons. They play Poland tonight, and then on YSN on Thursday night, I'll be there at Boardman as they take on the Spartans.